Logging into battle. Net, queued for login high, connecting to Diablo if services. Right action button, queued. Right action button can, logging into Diablo if. Right action Affine. Eternal. 20. Hey. Left shoulder button. Affine. Eternal. Cast. Affine. Louisa. Affine. Eternal. Season info. Damage over time effects do not have random damage variance and cannot critically strike or Slide, Slide, Marauder, Mana 57%, Marauder, Mana 24%, Slicer, Mana 45%, Mana 66%, Mana 8 War, Mana 49%, Scorcher, Life 80%, Arsonist, Life 92%, Wretched Arsonist, Belief, Mana 5, Life 8, Popular Arsonist, Belief, Life 57%, Wretched Arsonist, Belief, Life Arsonist, Life 100%, Arsonist, Mana 27%, Mana 47%, Mana 67%, Fire Arsonist, Mana 20%, Firebrand. Core event joined. Ancient Siphon. Investigate the Ancient Siphons. Ancient Siphon. But Slain Mercenary. Bottom at Ancient Siphon. Bottom. Survive the enemy. Slain mercenary. Bottom action button. Giant fat. Giant fat. Mana 72 for arsonist. Mana 26%. Arsonist. Life 90%. Giant fat. Mana 26%. Mana 47%. Giant fat. Life 100%. Giant fat. Frostwing. Mana 38%. Frostwing. Mana 34. Frostwing. Life 90%. Life 100%. Giant fat. Wretched. Giant fat. Life 89%. Wretched Frostwing. Elite. Life 78%. Wretched Kill. Giant fat. Mana 30. Mana 10%. Iron. Giant fat. Iron. Giant fat. Frostwing. Mana 31. Skill rat. Frostwing. Life 100. Mana 29%. Frostwing. Giant fat. Mana 6%. Frostwing. Mana giant fat. Mana 47%. Giant bone charm. Giant fat. Mana 60. Giant fat. Mana 88%. Giant fat. Event complete. Bone charm. Radiant chest. Bottom action button. Interact. Slain mercenary. Bottom action button. Interact. Firebrand. Life 89%. Mana 43%. Firebrand. Life 100%. Arsonist. Life 86%. Arsonist. Mana 44%. Life 96. Mana 19%. Mana 39%. Buy to berry. Bottom action button. Interact. Frostwing. Mana 100. Frostwing. Mana 57%. Ice Clan Marauder. Mana 20. Mana 49%. Ice Clan Marauder. Mana 9%. Mana 31%. Mana 51%. Mana 72%. Mana 92%. Nasser Blood Pools. Ice Clan Marauder. Nasser Blood Pools. Elite. Nasser Blood Pools. Frostwing. Nasser Blood Pools. Frostwing. Mana 7%. Mana 28%. Mana 48%. Mana 68%. Mana 89%. Storm War. Mana 50. Storm War. Life 100%. Storm War. Mana 20. Mana 69%. Mana 89%. Buy to berry. Volkodlak. Orvane. Bottom action button. Interact. Storm Warg. Storm Warg. Mana 52%. Wrathful Phantom. Mana 30%. Wrathful Phantom. Volkodlak. Mana 9%. Volkodlak. Mana 30%. Mana 9%. Mana 29%. Mana 50%. Mana 71%. Containers. Mana 92%. Volkodlak. Chest. Button action button. Interact. Ice Climbing Tailor. Mana 63%, mana 28%. Ice Climbing Tailor. Mana 50%. Mana 92%. Storm War, Minion, Shocking Prowler. Life 62%, life 52, life 64%. Storm War, Minion. Mana life 70, Storm War. Mana Shattering Volkodlak, Bloodthirsty, Shattering Volkodlak, Elite. Life 88%. Shattering Volkodlak, Elite. Ring. Mana 41%, mana 63%, Wrathful Phantom. Mana 83%. Wrathful Phantom. Mana 53%. With Storm War. Mana 26%. Wrathful Phantom. Prowler. Storm War. Mana 3%. Storm War. Mana 25%. Storm War. Mana 46%. Mana 67%. Menastad. Mana 87%. Stastia. Heal. Bottom action button. Interact. Mavika. Bottom action button. Interact.
Next time some cutpurse picks my pocket, they'll be
Left shoulder button. Right shoulder button. Stash. Armory. Undiscovered. Stash. Waypoint. Teleport. Temper manuals can vary in quality. If you learn multiple rarity. Wedge and Honey. Menastad. Bottom action button. Interact. Wedge and Honey. Waypoint. Bottom action. Left shoulder button. Jara. Side quest. Bottom action button. Untrack. Disable autopin. Chained Zakarum repository. Harvest lingering essence. 0%. Warning. Your return town portal will be closed once you leave town. Basket. Dismal foot pots. Pots. Effluvium Ridge. Putrid Wasp. Putrid Wasp. Putrid Rodion Festerpool. Mana 44. Mana 10%. Putrid Wasp. Keepsake. Mana 30%. Mana 50%. Rodorm Festerpool. Mana support. Mana 31%. Putrid Wasp. Putrid Wasp. Minion. Mana 100. Rodorm Festerpool. Elite. Mana 79. Mana 58%. Strider War. Mana 32%. War. Mana 10%. War. Mana 31. Mana 10%. Disease War. Mana 31%. Disease Bear. Mana 10%. Mana 31%. Putrid Wasp. Mana 50. Mana 73%. Putrid Wasp. Life 86. Putrid Wasp. Life 76%. Monin. Putrid Wasp. Putrid Wasp. Life 100%. Putrid Wasp. Mana 29%. Mana 49%. Fallon Overseer. Mana. You have reached your destination. Mana 6. Mana 36%. Fallon. Mana 15%. Slain Villager. Bottom action. Felon. Mana 37%. Slain villager. Bottom act. Seething embers. Mana sep. Felon. Mana 63%. Seething embers. Mana 33. Life 85%. Mana 10%. Mana 32%. World boss spawning soon in dry steppes. Mana 50. Mana 74%. Felon. Mana 44%. Felon. Mana 14%. Seething embers. Mana 30. Mana 14%. Seething embers. Mana 36. Mana 56%. Felon. Mana 76. Mana 97%. Mana 74%. Felon lunatic. Mana 27%. Seething embers. Seething embers. Life 82%. Mana 40. Mana 69%. Mana 89. Life 92%. Felon. Thundering Felon. Thundering Felon. Belief. Mana 61%. Felon. Nightmare Felon Overseer. Nightmare Felon Overseer. Belief. Mana 34%. Nightmare Felon Overseer. Belief. Mana 13%. Felon Shaman. Minion. Mana 54%. Felon. Mana 8%. Mana 28%. Mana 49%. Felon. Mana 71%. Felon. Mana 28%. Felon. Mana 6%. Felon. Minion. Thundering Felon Shaman. Elite. Mana 20. Mana 49%. Felon. Life 100%. Mana 24%. Felon Overseer. Mana 2%. Healthler Felon. Elite. Mana 43. Felon. Mana 18%. Thundering Felon Shaman. Mana 39%. Mana 59%. Mana 79%. Mana 99%. Wretched Felon. Elite. Felon. Minion. Wretched Felon. Elite. Mana 15%. Felon. Mana 37%. Quest complete. Chained Zakarum Repository. 6003. Mana 100%. Felon. Mana 80%. Mana 100%. Healing Well. Bottom action button. Interact. Left shoulder button. Right shoulder button. Left shoulder button. Felon. Wretched Felon. Belief. Mana 50. Wretched Felon. Minion. Seething Embers. Mana 33. Seething Embers. Mana 12%. Felon Lunatic. Felon Lunatic. Shocking Felon. Felon. Mana 12%. Felon. Life 88%. Tainted Felon. Belief. Life 98%. Seething Embers. Life 85%. Felon Shaman. Minion. Life Mana 30. Felon Overseer. Life 78%. Mana 12%. Felon. Life 89. Felon. Life 100%. Felon Overseer. Mana 33%. Mana 53%. Mana 73%. Left shoulder. Mana 100%. Felon. Block Felon. Mana Felon. Mana 36%. Felon. Mana 58%. Left shoulder button. Blight shape. Stash. Waypoint. Wedge and Honey. Services. Stash. Waypoint. Undiscovered. Mana 100%. Effluvium Ridge. War. Putrid Wasp. Crimson. Bloodthirsty Rotting Corpse. Plate. Putrid Remains. putrid remains, plague swore, putrid remains, putrid remains, putrid remains. Right action button, path of desperation. Right action button, to climb down. Ruins of Rakhat Keep. World boss spawning soon in dry steppes. Ruins of Rakhat Keep, Inner Court. Ruins of Rakhat Keep. Broken statue. Bottom action button. Interact. Right action button. To climb up. Right action button. To climb down. Right action button. To climb up. Right action button. To climb down. Right action button. To climb up. Right action button. To climb up. Right action button. To climb down. Right action button. To climb down. Right action button. To climb up. Right action button. Right action button. To jump. Right action button. To climb down. Right action button. Ruins of Rakhat Keep, Inner Court. You have reached your destination. Ruins of Right action button. Right action button. To climb down. A solemn oath is sworn, and those that loved Sankapur the most bore his body to. A solemn hatred is slain. Bottom action button. In right action button. To climb down. Right action but Ruins of Rakhat Keep, Inner Court. Ruins of Rakhat Keep, Inner Waypoint unlocked. Ruins of Rakhat Keep, Ruins of Rakhat Keep, Inner Court. Waypoint. Bottom action button. Interact. A solemn oath, hatred, the High Council in darkness. Bottom action button. None shone brighter in the light than Hagen Sankapur, but even this was not enough to protect from Mephisto, so vile was his touch. Right action button close. The high counts, hatred is slain. A solemn oath is sworn. Bottom action button. Interact. Door. Bottom action button. Steadfast barracks. Bottom action button. Interact. Necromancers have the ability to see and interact with corpses. Kill en. Tarnished quarters. World boss spawning soon in dry steppes. Steadfast barracks. Destroy the blood. Door. Bottom action. Flesh eater. Flesh door. Flesh eater. Flesh ripper. Mana 59%. Serpent cultist. Mana serpent cultist. Mana 17%. Mana 38%. Mana 58%. Door. Bottom action button. Serpent cultist. Mana 62. Serpent cultist. Mana 40%. Serpent cultist. Mana 3%. Serpent cultist. Mana 47%. Serpent cultist. Mana 68. Serpent cultist. Flesh ripper. Serpent cultist. Mana 28%. Serpent cultist. Mana 48%. Mana 69%. Door. Bottom action button. Mana 89%. Serpent cultist. Mana life at mana 25%. Serpent flesh crawler. Mana 21%. Mana 41%. Serpent cultist. Blood obelisk. Life 80%. Life 65%. Serpent cultist. Life serpent cultist. Serpent cultist. Life 96%. Blood serpent cultist. Tainted serpent cultist. Elite. Life 70%. Vulnerable. Serpent cult. Tainted serpent cultist. Elite. Life 95%. Tainted serpent cultist. Elite. Mana 39. Sealed risk ority. Elite. Life 62. Life 75. Sealed risk ority. Elite. Life 100%. Sealed risk ority. Elite. Life 98%. Serpent cult magus. Mana 37%. Mana 59%. Mana 79%. Mana 99%. Serpent cultist. Mana serpent cultist. Mana 51%. Blood obelisk. Blood obelisk. Elite. Flesh crawler. Life 78%. Mana 51. Serpent cultist. Serpent cultist. Life serpent color. Mana 7%. Serpent cold magus. Serpent cold magus. Mana 28%. Diamandament breaker. Serpent cold magus. Diamandament breaker. Diamandament breaker. Diamandament breaker. Elite. Mana 47%. Life 80%. Mana 67%. Mana 88%. Flesh ripper. Life 91%. Flesh cross. Flesh rip. Flesh crawler. Mana 65%. Serpent color. Serpent color. Mana 34. Mana 54%. Serpent cultist. Mana flesh ripper. Flesh ripper. Mana 65%. Serpent cultist. Mana 40. Mana 14%. Serpent cold magus. Weapon rack. Mana 30. Blood obelisk. Mana 57. Serpent cultist. Mana 34%. Thundering serpent cultist. Elite. Flesh ripper. Mana 22%. Richter and Athos. Eshel. Mana 1%. Mana 22%. Blood obelisk. Blood obelisk. Elite. Mana 21%. Rectal serpent cultist. Life serpent cultist. Life 85. Life 96%. Rectal serpent cultist. Minion. Life 85. Serpent cold magus. Mana 42. Mana 22. Heinrich duplicate. Weapon rack. Net serpent cultist. Flesh crop. Serpent cultist. Mana 2%. Flesh eater. Life 89%. Serpent cultist. Minion. Mana 24. Serpent cultist. Life 71. Heinrich duplicon. Mana 45. Serpent cultist. Flesh eater. Mana 2%. Heinrich duplicon. Elite. mana 23%, Heinrich Duplicon, delete. Life 7, mana 22%, mana 1%, mana 21%, ring, amulet, amulet, mana 43%, mana 63%, mana 83%, life 70%, drifter and life 80%. Door. Bottom action button. Interact. Life 91%. Dreadful Serpent Cult. Dreadful Serpent Cultist. Delete. Mana 61. Dreadful Serpent Cultist. Delete. Mana 41%. Mana 62%. Mana 82%. Serpent Cultist. Mana 50, mana 17, life 7, Serpent Cultist. Life, mana 24%. Mana 46%. Mana 68%. Serpent Color. Serpent Cultist. Serpent Cultist. Mana 24%. Serpent Cult Magus. Flesh Ripper. Mana 38, Serpent Color. Mana 16%. Blood Obelisk. Mana 38%. Blood Obelisk, delete. Vulnerable. Life 82%. Flesh Slugskin. Serpent Cultist. Life Serpent Cultist. Mana 38%. Serpent Slugskin, delete. Mana 18%. Ring. Mana 39%. Mana 60%. Character, Virtue Mayhem. Rare Chest Armor. Purified Herb Cache. Magic. Fur-lined Robe. Unchained Zakarum Rip. Mana 100%. Containers. Containers. Left shoulder but. Containers. Serpent Cultist. Serpent Flesh Crawl. Serpent Cultist. Serpent Cultist. Mana 57. Serpent Cultist. Mana 20. Life 86%. Serpent Cult. Pink. Dreadful Serpent Cultist. Delete. Life 75%. Dreadful Serpent Cultist. Delete. Dreadful Serpent Cultist. Delete. Life Mana 23%. Mana 43%. Mana 63%. Mana 83%. Serpent Cold Magus. Flesh Crawler. Flesh Crawler. Mana 53%. Flesh Crawler. Mana 96. Serpent Cultist. Dreadful Serpent Cold Magus. Mana 35%. Blood Obelisk. Mana 57%. Wretched Serpent Cultist. Blood Obelisk. Nightmare Serpent Cultist. Serpent Cult, Cackle Fest, Serpent Cultist. Nightmare Serpent Cultist, Nightmare Serpent Cultist. Mana 11%. Cackle Fester Ghoul, delete. Mana 33%. Highlight Mana 54%. Mana Life 95%. Virtue Mayhem. Rare Chest Armor. 200 Mana 100%. Serpent Cultist. Mana 56%. Flesh Ripper. Serpent Cultist. Life 84%. Flesh Crawler. Flesh Crawler. Serpent Cultist. Mana 30%. Serpent Cultist. Mana 51. Serpent Cultist. Mana 38%. Serpent Cold Magus. Serpent Cultist. Mana 18%. Mana 39%. Mana 59%. Mana 79%. Flesh Crawler. Mana 99%. Serpent Cultist. Mana 26%. Serpent Cultist. Mana 47%. Mana 68%. Mana 90%. Life 95%. Left shoulder button. Right shoulder button. Containers. 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 Serpent cultist. Serpent cultist. Serpent cultist. Mana 25%. Serpent cultist. Minion. Serpent cultist. Minion. Serpent cultist. Life 97%. Shocking serpent cult magus. Elite. Chaldean. Strewn books. Bottom action button. Scrap of mana 62%. Scrap of mana 82%.